Could you tell us your name? What sort of job do you do? And tell us a bit about yourself and your situation.
Yeah, sure. My name's Anna Gould, and I've been working with the Living Care Company for nearly 4 years now. I myself live away from my mum, and so do my siblings. I'm a marketing manager in Windsor, and I've worked with these guys for 4 years, and it's been a really great journey.
Oh, fantastic. What was the first thing that prompted you to consider living care for mum, when you first started thinking about it versus other forms of care?
Yeah, well, my mum, who at the time was in her late 70s, had a hip replacement. So we actually needed someone with my mum at all times. My dad passed away about 4 years prior to that, and she was living on her own in the house that my dad was. So she didn't want to leave and go to any of her family, which was a shame because we all lived different places, Windsor, Berkshire, Edinburgh. We also have family in Yorkshire. So my mum was literally 2, 3 hours away from all her family, which actually caused another level of difficulty and challenge. So my mum had a hip replacement. She was coming out of hospital and needed 6 weeks continuous care, which we then reached out to the live-in care company because we needed someone to live in rather than what we were having before, which was a couple of hours a visit per day, per week. And actually, what we felt when we'd had this living care is we actually never stopped it. We actually found it was a real difference to my mum. It was about companionship, not just care. It was about companionship that we needed for my mum. And we actually never stopped the care from there onwards.
What told you that mum was struggling and needed that higher level of support? What sort of behaviours or what did you notice in mum?
We noticed after her, certainly after my father died, and then after her operation, and she was in hospital for some time, we found that she was forgetting things. We found that she was getting very angry. We found that she was just getting really, just feeling really down. And after seeing a doctor and after seeing various medical professionals, we found out that she had early stages of dementia and Alzheimer's, so both vascular dementia and Alzheimer's. So it's a really sad time. And we just felt what we can at least do is get mum the care she needs. There was no option for me to send her into a care home. It was not something that it was even on the table. So we wanted my mum to have someone there who could really care for her because we weren't able to, because we weren't close.
Between kind of realising that mum needed a higher level of care and then actually bringing it about, what were the kind of difficulties that you had in your life and with your siblings? What sort of worries and stresses did you experience during that period of time before you got living care in place?
Well, we had quite a lot of stress and challenges. Firstly, I'm one of four, so I'm the youngest of four siblings, all of who've got quite strong characters, beliefs in what we should do with our mum. After my dad died, I wanted my mum to come down and live with me. She wouldn't. My sister, who lives in Edinburgh, wanted her to come and live with her, but my mum wouldn't. So we're in a difficult situation with a very headstrong mother to start with, who produced four headstrong children. But obviously, all of us wanted to care for my mum. But what actually happened is because my mum was so steadfast in staying in the house when my father died and wanted to be in her own surroundings, we also believed that that was a great thing for my mum to have her own independence. And the challenging part was that we all didn't agree, in that. So I actually took the lead and actually have power of attorney for my mum now since the situation arose. But we just wanted to make sure that we'd never been in a position before where we felt we needed care from my mum. We just felt like it just go on, like it is us traveling up to see her, general people popping in through the course of the day, week, friends, etc. But we just knew that that wasn't enough, and we needed long-term care for my mum.
What was the point when you thought, let's go ahead and let's find someone for mum? What was that process like? How difficult was it to pick someone and to have enough faith and confidence in that person to go ahead? What were your thoughts that you were having at that point? What was the process and how did you sort of negotiate it with your siblings and how did you navigate your way through that?
Well, it was quite a difficult time because some of my siblings felt that she was okay on her own. One of them felt like she should go into a home. And I obviously stood fast with, let's keep in her own environment. That will be where she's the most happiest. And the Lord, it is, because she didn't want to leave her home either. She is still, while she had dementia and Alzheimer's, she still wanted to be more independent. She still didn't want to be an old person, which is what she kept saying, stop treating me like an old person. And, she was an old person, but she had so much strength in mind that I just couldn't be in a situation where my mum was going home. That was difficult. But when we started researching for live-in care, something we'd never had to do before, it was a big step for us as a family, having complete trust in people to be able to live with my mum, with us not being around the corner to say check in and pop round for a cup of tea. So we had to be 100% sure about the next step.
How did you feel that we took the time to understand the situation and then come up with a plan for finding the right person?
Well, this was the great part about the Living Care Company. I felt that they, at the time, and still do, testament to the fact that we're still with the Living Care Company after 4 years, but it was the most important thing. The reason why I went with the Living Care Company was because they really understood what I needed. I was in such a difficult place with having to do this with my mum anyway. Knowing my mum's character, very independent and strong, I know it wasn't going to be an easy person to be able to live with my mum as well. It was like twofold. But the team I work with, obviously, I work with Luca right at the beginning to determine, is this really what I need to do? Is this necessary at this stage? And they're not like a sales company where they're going, yeah, you need someone in all the time. That's what you need. We looked at different options, and actually them understanding what we need during a time that was so difficult was actually music to my ears, because it meant that I could be really part of the selection process, which was really, really important, especially because I didn't know the company right at the beginning. But we sat down, we had long discussion, the sort of care person we needed, the level of care that my mum needed, which wasn't actually a lot of personal care at this time. It was more companionship, help with the shopping, being there to watch films in the afternoon, just being there for my mum was the most important thing at that time. Obviously, it's changed over the years, but actually sitting down and discussing this with Luca and the team was really what nailed the final decision for me to be able to go with a really strong company that really listened to you. That's the most important thing.
Did mum first take living care, and has she adapted to it and got used to the idea, and what's it meant for her?
She absolutely hated it, if I'm absolutely honest, at the beginning. She didn't like the thought, I don't need someone coming looking after me. I'm fine on my own, quite strong on the fact that she wanted to keep her independence. She didn't want someone living in her house. But when she had her hip operation, she realized that we couldn't be there all the time. She couldn't actually manage on her own. So that was probably the first way that we managed to get someone in. And actually, she realized then that she actually couldn't, at that time when she had a hip operation, she couldn't get into the shower, out of the shower without help. And in fact, after the 8-week period, someone stayed with my mum because of the hip hop. She actually said, "Oh my God, I like this. I really like the fact that someone's here with me." But yeah, no, she didn't want it at the beginning. But because we got someone really nice who really understood my mum, not trying to rule the house in her own home, it was mum's house. It was really important that we had someone who cared for my mum, but understood my mum, most importantly.
Do you feel that living care through the living care company would be something you'd recommend someone else trying to source care for themselves or a loved one?
Absolutely, no question. Absolutely, definitely. I'm a real strong advocate for the business because of the relationship I have with Nicola on an ongoing basis, not just about getting current care, but the forward planning of care. I always feel that I'm in good hands. I would highly recommend the Living Care Company. I think the most important thing for me is being understood as a daughter, as something, such a big decision to have someone living, firstly, in your mum's house, secondly, with you not around and being able to pop in and sort of, not being rude, but check up, and having that complete confidence in a company that can turn around special care for all the needs of a parent is fundamentally the most important thing to make you be able to sleep at night and feel that you're doing the right thing. My mum's care over the time has changed. So the living care company have had to change the type of carer that my mum is able to have. Her dementia's got worse and her ability to make decisions has got less. So we've had to adapt. They've had to adapt. They've had to make sure that they get the right person. And they've continually done that through the last 4 years. So brilliant. Love working with them. I have such a laugh and a really nice relationship. I've built rapport with the lady that I work with. When she's on holiday, I have equally a good service with someone else that I would talk to, and always talking to Luca, am I doing the right thing, Luca? I just have a sense of a really warm feeling when I talk to anyone at the company to know that they're doing the right thing and I'm doing the right thing for my mother at this time.
Thank you so much.
My mum isn't at the end of life. She doesn't need an end of life carer. She actually needs someone that'll keep her going, keep her motivated, happy, agree with her a little bit too much, but have a companionship that they can get on. And certainly now the carer we have, and we hope she continues and stays for a long time, she sits with my mum. They enjoy time together. And I think that's the most important thing. All the people we've had, they've been great, every single one. I think I've mentioned really the strong team that you have, Luca, because that's actually your massive point of difference, in my opinion, where I can ring Nicola up, I can ring a team member up, know that I'm going to get a quick turnaround, someone who listens to me, someone understands, who I can have a laugh with, because actually finding someone to look after my mum is quite hard, as you well know. She's not like everyone else's mum that's easy to, fill a place with. And we actually haven't had any carers that haven't worked well. And obviously, the confidence we have now with you and your team, most importantly, Luca, your team are really, really good. And, Nicola has been, and just give her this feedback, just give her this recording anyway, because Nicola, I've never met her, I'd love to meet her. We have a laugh, we talk about my mum in a funny way. And she just really gets me and she gets what my mum needs. And that's why it's been so successful that we're still with you guys after, 4 years, which is a great testament to you and your team.
Well, coming here. When you try to get hold of Living Care Company by phone, by email, whatever, what's the turnaround time? How responsive is it?
Obviously, it's a hard choice to decide which company to go for. You don't know, but I had a really good feeling with them because firstly, they got back to me quickly. They understood my requirements, which have changed over time. So they're pretty flexible in being able to bring the right care at the right time. We've never had an issue where we haven't had a carer for my mum, but they were really quick to reach out to me, which is always a big advantage when someone gets back to you and sorts out your challenge and helps you in a really professional way. And that's really why I decided to go with them over either other businesses.
I've just had a little idea here.
Yeah.
Would you mind if I invited Nicola onto the Zoom and then you could just say hi? Is that
Not
all right?
at all. I'd love to. Hey, Nicola, I was just saying, I honestly, I just said, please just send this video, some of this video over to Nicola because she has been the reason why I've stayed with the Living Care Company. Like I've only had to speak to Luca like 3 times in 4 years. That just says it all,
Yeah.
testament. And I was just saying, that's why
I'm
your
your
ears must be
favourite. I'm your
burning.
favourite Essex girl. You're my favourite Northerner. Yeah.
And how I was just saying to Luca how like she's actually massive testament to your business because how I can get in touch with you. And I was going, I'd love to meet her. I've never met you, have I?
It's lovely. Thank you. That's really lovely. I've got all fuzzy.
Yeah. But yeah, testament to you. You're just brilliant, honestly, Nicola. Like ace, really good at your job, really professional, always available. Apart from when you go on holiday and then someone else covers you, and you've always got it sorted while you've been away. Very professional. I've built such a rapport with Nicola. She's an asset to the Living Care Company, always listens to your requirements, understands you fully, gets on and like delivers against what the brief is, which has changed over time, Nicola, hasn't it? When my mum started,
numerous times.
Miriam, all those years ago, now she needs something different because of her challenges.
Isn't it funny? Because do you remember actually you were obviously ascertaining what company that you should use all those years ago?
No, because it's a massively hard thing to do. Like asking someone to come and live in your mother's house with your mum and you're 3 hours away. It was like heartbreaking to actually have to do it. And also the fact that we weren't there to see the person on the first day. You have to put a huge amount of confidence in people that they're not going to be awful to your mum or nick something or worse. So you have to have a lot of confidence in a business to be able to deliver something so important to you. And, you know, I didn't say this, but when my dad passed away, I said to him, I will look after Mum, don't worry. And literally moments before he died, I'll never forget that. And obviously that sticks with you. And you want to do everything you can, despite my mum's personality changing and not as kind as she was when she was her normal self.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that you are doing what you can as children to be able to give her the best life she can, despite my dad not being here anymore. So yeah, it was an awful decision to make, actually. And I think we've done the right thing. It's been a bit of a road, a bit of a journey to this point, because also you don't really want your parents to get sick, do you? When I went up, I noticed that Sam, and she wasn't just doing it because I was there, the house was spotless. We have quite a few people going up over weekends of the family. It's the benefit of having a large family. I'll say it again, it was the hardest decision to take to bring a living carer to my mum's house. It was her house, and my dad had passed away, and I promised my dad on his literally deathbed that I will look after my mum, and I've done everything I can to do that. You need complete confidence in the company to be able to deliver it, and it was the hardest decision I had to make. And the living care company have made it easier for me, living 3 hours away, to be able to bring what was a horrendous situation, and not only my father dying, but having to decide to have someone else look after my mum, which I believe is my job as a daughter. It has been really hard, and to be able to trust a company so much and to have a great relationship with Nicola has just brought it, you know, a lot easier than it could have been. So thank you
Got
so
me
much.
now.
You made it so enjoyable. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
It was
Pleasure.
it's really been fun.